All right, here we go. It is Tuesday, June 11th. This is Drips in the Office.
Tuesday. Sorry.
Brother, it's
Hello.
Tuesday. And I am John and Warren. I am with Pat Ford, who's dripping it. It's one of my favorites.
I like
Absolutely
that
love
one.
that one.
Makes me feel good.
We are on episode 14 of Drips. We got a good one for you tonight. We'll talk about the woes of owning a pool, some tales from the road. Of course, we'll get into all things basketball, all things KMS, and like I always say, and everything in between. Before any of that, even if you sent 100 emails, prospecting emails, seeing if you can get a little nibble, little bite back, and you only got 2 responses, this will still be the most boring part of your week. Mr. Patrick Ford, what is going on, my friend?
That one hit home. That's been my
That was
last
me
week.
today. Yeah.
I think I'm going to switch to MailChimp.
MailChimp. Why do I know what MailChimp is? Will it sort of do it for you? Like it'll
I
send
can basically plug
masses
in
out?
yeah, but it looks like generic. Like if I'm prospecting, like you probably do too, I want to like customize them a little bit so I know it's a MailChimp. I can basically dump an email in there and just blast it off to 500 people. That's how like you get all your automated emails or whatever service they use. But yeah, the prospecting game it's beating me up. So I might make that switch and see if we get any traction. So that your opener right there hit home.
Yeah, that was me today. I was just doing it old school manual, but I was copy and pasting though. I was
Yeah.
just putting a new email in, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and then about halfway through, my heart did sink for a minute because I realized I was definitely sending it to some people that work in the same office or same like doctor's office, and I'm
Yep.
like, but what are the chances they're not going to sit there and compare emails? I've never done that with someone that I work with, so
No, but that
I
fear,
convinced myself it was fine.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
Yeah,
Nothing.
got 2 responses, but hey, what are you gonna do? Now, you said it with the whatever the service was. How generic are we talking? Like, as soon as if you sent it to me, right? As soon as I opened it, would I be able to sniff it out? Like, oh, this is they're just using like a mass invite service.
I guess it's all about the body of the email because you can put anything. Like I could put just like I could put one sentence and I think mail and blast out through Mailchimp. I've never personally done it. We've done it through like the marketing department, but I know I can do it. But one good thing about it is you see impressions, so you can see how many people open it and who opened
Oh,
it.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
you can tell who's just deleting, and then you can tell who. I want to say you can unsubscribe. No, you can't. I don't know. We'll get more details on it. But yeah, the good part is you can see who opens it.
Yeah, I actually think I didn't use it personally, but I do think we used it for something because you could make like a resend date. So if someone doesn't open it within 2 days, it'll automatically send it again. That's kind of cool.
I want to say, and I might be wrong. I want to say it tracks if they forward it to. Like if you forward it to, it won't track who you forward it to, but it at least shows that you're interacting with it.
Right.
That's what I want to see too. So then, like after that point, you can get a little more detailed.
We had a dialer where it would be a similar idea, but on the phone. So you could call whatever, like 30 phone numbers at the same time, and it would only connect you if the person picked up. If the person didn't pick up, it would leave an automated voicemail. And you could do like a robot voicemail or you could record one. So it goes to their voicemail. You don't have to sit there on the phone recording the voicemail, it'll just drop it to you. If more, the thing is, you need a team of people doing this
Yeah, I was
because
gonna ask this.
exactly. So if multiple people pick up, you have at least 5 people that are there. What's crazy though, I did it once. It's weird because you're calling, but then all of a sudden you don't really hear it ring because you don't hear 100. You're calling 100 people.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden there's just someone in your ear, and you kind of have to just be like ready to go.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't like that. I'd freeze.
yeah. I was telling you when I saw you when I went into one of these hospital facilities in Connecticut, I saw your company. They were doing the valet or they were doing the parking, whatever it was, and I jokingly said to you like, "Oh, I almost dropped your name." Would you be known in Connecticut, or is that too far? Oh, okay, all right.
Outside of my scope, we're
Got
like based out of Connecticut, so they're their own little like that's like our Hartford's are where we started.
Mhm.
So they have their own region that I really don't touch, but maybe by the offshoot, maybe they listen to the show and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. How are you, John?"
True. So
Like my
they
buddy
must
from
have a ton of the
Starbucks.
hospitals out there then.
We have a couple hospitals in Connecticut. Hospitals are hard to get into. Hospitals are
Is
hard to
it
get. I went to a hospital summit this last week.
if you get in, is it good though?
Yeah, it's really it's hospitals are good to get into, but you have to factor it this way. Like I forget exactly what it's called, but it's either Medicare or Medicaid.
Mhm.
So this is how it explained to me. Say you get a surgery for $50,000. Back in the day, I think it was pre 2014. Medicaid would cut the check for 45,000, and the 5 to 10 would be covered by insurance. But I guess now your Medicaid, Medicare payout to the hospital is based off customer service scores. I should probably, maybe I'm not supposed to. I don't know if this is. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Um, but like parking is not a line item on that. But if you have a shitty parking experience, you could go from being great to like my husband has had leg surgery and was stuck in a lot for an hour and a half because no one answered the phone.
Oh, so then that
Or
lowers the score, lowers the
yeah.
payout, the whole
But
thing.
because if you notice too, parking at hospital parking lots, you never get charged like a premium rate. It's usually like 6, 10, $12 for the day.
Yeah.
They don't want people leaving there pissed. It's a traumatic experience sometimes going there. So
I had actually a pretty weird experience. So I had to go into the garage at this hospital. I was in Connecticut,
okay.
and there was a kiosk. Pressed the button, got a ticket, just like anywhere else. But when I was leaving, there was just a guy there, and every time you went up, showed him the ticket, and he was just by hand lifting up the gate. So I don't know if I just got lucky. I didn't have to pay anything. So I don't if maybe there's just like a 2 hour window where something was down and they were just letting everybody out, but I lucked out.
I'll follow up on that for sure. But yeah, that's not normal.
No,
It
no, I might
shouldn't
have to
be
send that
normal.
your way. I know I should have
Yeah,
called you.
kick that my way. We'll
Yeah.
dial that one up the ladder. The equipment probably failed. It's not on us. We partner with the equipment. Side note.
Right. Right. I don't even know if this is the same place. I actually
Oh,
don't think it
good.
was the same place where I saw I won't say the name of it, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
so I mean the road's been good. I was proud of myself yesterday planning my route. Like I knew I had it down pretty good, but when I ended my last appointment and I was 11 minutes from
Oh,
the port, I was like, this is amazing. Like I can't believe that it worked out this well.
and you get that
I
at
had
home too. You're like, honey, listen,
oh
it's 10 minutes from the fucking court. How perfect is that? She's like, oh, great, play well. And then you play well.
right.
It all kind of adds up. Hell of a game, John, by the way. We'll go off topic, but great performance.
That was a good game. There was that moment in the beginning where they were running away with it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of had that feeling like, oh, here we go again. But when we brought it in, there was that it felt like there was momentum. It felt like there was magic happening. I think when we brought it within 8, we had some threes that were dropping. Kirk was dropping threes. I felt pretty good out there. You looked good. Hey, listen, I think if we play these guys again, we have more of a like it's very realistic for us to win that game. I think last night, and I think moving forward, if we played them again.
And if Marty hits 3 threes opposed to 7, you win. I mean, obviously they go in a different direction. They focus more on Zeno. You have to adjust, but no, I mean, I have all the confidence in the world going into Thursday now. Like,
Definitely.
we have to lock in on Thursday, and I think that helped. I think all of us have our wind a little bit. I know I feel better. I'm down 8 pounds over the season.
Good for you. Good for
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. But yeah, good game. Tough loss. I hate losing. It made me so mad. And I cut my finger.
I was going to ask what that was.
We only have kids' Band-Aids in the house, so and it's Pride Month, so 2 birds, 1 stone.
Some people are losing teeth. Some people are,
breaking
elbow pads, whatever those things are. There's like bone chips floating around. Other guys cut their finger. Listen, it doesn't matter, how hard you play. You're gonna come out with a little scrapes and bruise.
Gus is so casual because like he comes over, he's holding. I'm like, oh, is your elbow okay? He's like, yeah, I cut it open again. I think the bone's probably broken.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, hang in there.
I know, like the bone thing surprised me because even when he was the first situation from the other game, a cut, a cut's a cut. You bleed, you get stitches. I'm just thinking flesh wound the entire time.
Certainly.
Even when he started bleeding again last night, he put the medical tape on it. Blood was coming through. I'm still thinking, all right, well, the kid did just have stitches, and now he's playing. He's hitting the ground again. As soon as we started talking about bones, it's like, what the hell's going on here?
But he's a very thin guy. A lot of bone. He's very bony, so it kind of makes sense. I'm praying for a speedy recovery for Gus. Doesn't look like he's going to be with us for the rest of the season on the court, but he'll be there for us. So God bless him. Godspeed.
and I gave him a ride home, and there was a couple points where he was like, yeah, the pain's really starting to come in, the adrenaline's really starting to wear off. And I still, because again, I didn't know anything about the bones or that he like fractured anything, and I just I'm driving, I'm kind of like, yeah, that stinks, maybe take an Advil when you get home.
Today he's like, I can't
He'll
make
be
a
fine.
fist.
And then he's probably, it's a 2-hour ride, he's in so much pain, he needs to get x-rays, and meanwhile, like an hour in, I'm going, oh, by the way, we're going to McDonald's.
Yeah, you just
No,
get sponsored by them.
the truth of the matter is that was a long ass ride home. It was a solid 2 hours for me, and
I enjoyed it though.
it wasn't bad.
I had silence. I didn't listen to music or the power or the KMS for the first hour. I drove in silence,
just thinking,
just angry,
just
driving angry and replaying everything in my head and just getting angrier. And then I started with a little music, and then I went right back in the podcast, and I felt better. But now I'm getting angry again. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be things you look back and you wish you did a little bit differently. I think there was one pass that they stole that I been playing it over in my head. Like I should, sometimes I feel like I panic. Like if I pick up the ball and if I'm near out of bounds, I'm like, all right, I got to get rid of the ball, and I just kind of toss it. And I should have done that. No, so I've literally stopped at McDonald's on the way home from every single game that we've had so far, and I'm not a fast food guy. Doesn't sound like it, but I swear I'm not. It's just the timing thing of it, man. It's just these games are late. I don't eat dinner. I'm starving on the way home. And sad. And I feel like when you're hungry and sad, you find yourself in the parking lot of McDonald's, just like drowning your sorrows in a McDouble, a 4-piece nugget, and a fry, and a Sprite.
I don't hate you for it, but I do hate you for it. You're a thin, fit guy. You're out there just crushing McDonald's. I can
get away with it.
I get home and I'm counting out goldfish, so I make sure that I'm having the proper serving size, so it's not too heavy before I go to bed. Well, you're just eating the cheeseburger, living life, thin, handsome, and I'm just over here fat, and it's okay. I'm not gonna hold it against you, but.
So you're going home, you're counting goldfish, and now, from what I understand, you're counting real fish too. Do you want to tell the people what's going on over there at the zoo?
Unbelievable. And it was probably right around episode 6 or 7. I got my fish tank, 20-gallon tank. I got all the fixings for it. I mean, it's a nice habitat for these 10 fish. Actually, fish bladder rolls around, and they start dying, and they're just dying. Well, nothing we can do. I'm keeping it clean. Just remember the clean part. I'm keeping it clean. I have a suction tube. It actually looks like a penis pump. I'll send you a picture of it. It's crazy. It's the weirdest thing, but it flushes out the water, the dirty water, and it collects the particles. Anyway, these fuckers are dying left and right, and I feel awful. I'm giving them the best life I can. And I'm at the point now where I'm just assuming they're all going to die. And this is all going to be over. And then, I'll never do this again because I'm like a fish killer, 1,000%. So there's 3 of them left. And I know that I looked at it. I was like, oh, I got to clean the tank. I go to feed them. I look down. There's 3 fish the size of a piece of rice. These fish are repopulating. I'm going to have these fish for the rest of my life. And to top it all off, I can't clean the tank because I can't see these fucking things.
Oh, they're that small.
A big suction pump that goes in there, and it goes on the rocks, and you kind of sift it around. It pulls up all the shit. They're so small that I'm just going to suck them up into the filter.
Oh, yeah.
I can't clean
them. Then you're even more evil. Yeah.
So I need to let them grow in the dirty water, and then I need to clean it and hope they survive this. It's such a bad situation. I feel so bad. I'm happy for the new additions to the family. But
has your son seen the baby fish yet?
I fucking kid. He doesn't give a shit about the fish. I bought the goddamn fish tank for him. He could care less. Day one, he was like, ooh, fishies. And now it's just on top of the bookcase. I'm the one who feeds these guys. I go in there and look at them and just kind of relax, and no enjoyment of the fish tank for him. Loves the biomes. Shout out. But no go in the fish tank. It's so frustrating.
Is this your first baby fish experience?
No, I had a fish tank growing up as a kid, and after I installed it, bought the fish, I spent like $500 on this fish tank.
Oh, I believe that.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom was like, yeah, we did it and we couldn't keep them alive. They're so hard to
Child
like
support alone. Yeah.
correct.
Hmm.
And so I had fish growing up. I didn't know we killed all of them. Should have known that.
Yeah.
So it's just we just don't have it. It's not in our blood. It's not in our
Yeah.
blood. But now we're just going to keep repopulating. And I know which one got pregnant too because she was fat as hell. Like,
Oh God, I mean, there's a circle of life thing going on in the house. I mean, maybe you can look at it that way. I mean,
go ahead.
You flush one down the toilet, another one just arises from the
Did I
penis.
tell you about the last one I flushed?
What, did it start to like scream for help on the way down the toilet?
Yes.
Yeah,
It
I
was
had a feeling.
petrifying. Yeah, I have fish bladder. So when I have fish bladder, they look like they're dead. So I went to grab him, and he comes back to life. I was like, oh my God, maybe he'll make it. Didn't make it. So he's dead in the tank, floating. I scoop him. I bring him to the toilet, dump him in. He's just dead. I go to flush, right back to life.
Right back.
He starts swimming around the bowl. He's trying to swim the opposite direction.
Are you audibly like, no, or are you just watch it?
I almost woke my wife. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I don't like touching fish. Whenever I went fishing as a boy, I wore a glove. So I wasn't going to stick my hand. I wasn't going to stick my hand in the toilet and like scoop them. So I just like watched as I killed a somewhat alive fish.
Yeah, but you got to think that maybe that was just, or you could at least tell yourself maybe that was just like a muscle thing, like a reaction. You know, when you see dead animals or whatever, a snake or a spider or something, and it's still moving after it's dead, it could be a reflex.
That's freaky. If you can hear anything, I shouldn't have run my my laundry machine. But where is the? This is a dumb question. Where does the toilet go? Like, is there any chance he survived the tunnel of poop?
I've certainly thought about that. I don't know. I assume it goes into a sewer, and then from there, where does it go? I don't really know.
You got to imagine.
We're gonna have to look into this. We're gonna have to get somebody on it.
I know where it runs through the house and down through here, and I think everything funnels out to the street. I'm just curious to see I would love to see what the internal pipes look like. So it's like if it's smooth or chipped.
Well, dude, you hear about these stories where fucking snakes come through the toilet. Like, they had to come from somewhere, right?
Every time I poop now, I look to see if the fish resurfaced.
Yeah. It wouldn't resurface for long. So that kind of segues into some more plumbing issues. I heard you were having some plumbing woes. Is that correct?
Correct. I don't know what to do. And it's partially a pride thing. I need your advice.
I'm also not going to be the guy, but
it's more of a moral thing that I need your help on.
Ooh, okay, I like it already. Yep.
So unfortunately, over the winter, I didn't unscrew my hose. I just left it screwed in. I turned the water off, but I left it screwed in. So I went to take it off this year, and it's freaking cemented on there. I don't know if ice expanded it, whatever. So I said, okay, I'll grab a
wrench.
I think that's what it's called. It's a big one with a little mouth that goes over, and you twist it and it goes up. I think it's a wrench.
Yeah.
I'll Google it. And I was like, all right, I'll throw it on there. And
do you have a well?
No.
Okay.
Sewer. Is that where the water comes from?
No.
I have a hot water tank.
Well, if you have a well, sometimes there's certain like minerals in the water, I think, and that gets like potentially could get crusty, I think. Yeah.
Channel lock. Thank you, John. John put in the chat. It's called a channel lock.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Anyway, so I throw the channel lock on there. Go, all right, easy. And I go, and I hear.
No.
And from the inside of the house, because it's a spout right in the wall, I see water just start to slowly drip out the shingle. So I run downstairs where everything funnels to, and I'm like, oh God, it's going to flood the basement. I broke the pipe inside. I didn't. Nothing's flooding in the house. So in between the house and the outside, probably right next to the wall itself, I cracked the pipe a little bit. So it's a slow leak.
Okay, yep.
It's not great.
So what are you doing right now?
Here's my dilemma. My wife's uncle is a plumber.
Okay.
And he's one of those guys that like, he's the guy's the man. If I try to pay him, he'll be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, he wants to come and do it himself. Like, he always wants to come help us and all this stuff. I told him about it. He's like, yeah, I'll be there. he's very busy. We're going on like a week and a half.
Oh, so are you kind of in that spot where it's like, how many times am I supposed to text this guy
How many
or to
times am I
follow
supposed
up?
to text him because he's going to do it for free and probably save me
Mhm.
$500-600?
Yep. Yep.
And then if he's super busy, do I just call a plumber and pay the premium?
Oof.
But then
That
he
is a
gets
tough
so
spot to be in.
we ran into something like this before where it was, I think, the windows, where I hired somebody to do it, and he's like, "Don't ever do that." He's like, "I can do this shit. Like, I want to help you guys out." I'm like, "Oh, got it." Like, he's definitely offended that we didn't
Mhm.
go. So I don't want to offend the guy. Do I just let my pipes leak forever if he can't come? And I'm not saying he should. He's very busy man.
I have an idea because I had to do this. The electrical situation was going on. Same
Okay.
thing. We knew a guy. I think he had done some work in the house before. Super busy. Wasn't totally getting back to us, but then it was starting to like actually affect our lives, where I couldn't just stall any longer. And I would have stalled forever, by the way. I would have been 80 years old stalling, but my wife was like, we got to do something about this. Here's the move. There's got to be a slight white lie involved, though. I think you text him and go, hey, a buddy of mine does some plumbing work, says he could come by this week, but I just wanted to check with you before I have him come to the house. And if he's like, yeah, you know what, go ahead, have your buddy do it, then just call a plumber and get it all situated.
Smart. That's a really good idea. I hope he doesn't listen to this, but
Yeah.
that's a really good idea. I thought you were going to say break it like fully, like snap the pipe and just let it
Oh, and then
flood.
be like, dude,
Help.
you got to get here tomorrow. Yeah. That's not a bad idea either.
That's a really good idea, John. And that also reminds me of your electrical problem. None of the outlets in my garage work right now. Something happened over the winter. I have no idea how to fix it. I'm just going to let it ride.
Do you have GFIs? Could it be a GFI situation?
No idea.
Yeah.
I love the buttons.
Yeah, I was gonna say I only partially know what that means because I do the thing like, oh, here's something. When you do have someone working on the house or whatever, the handyman at the house, do you stand next to them and kind of do the whole, yeah, that's what I thought it was, like, or do
Yep.
you get away, like go into another room?
Yep. I always started off with like, hey, can I get you something? You want water or anything?
Yep.
No,
Yep.
I'm good. Oh, are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I love that conversation because like
Yeah.
I want them to feel like I can do it. Like I want them to be like, he's just calling me because he's probably busy. Like he could probably do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that conversation. Sometimes they're not into it at all.
Yeah. I find myself hovering.
Mhm.
And then I started thinking, should I not hover? Should I get totally out of this guy's face? But then I don't know though, because a lot of times they turn around and they're like, oh, can you go turn the water back on? Or can you flip this? Like they kind of
They
need
need
you
your help.
around. You're the little runner in that scenario.
I also find it fascinating because like these guys are just like for the pipe over here, he's gonna come in, kill the water, pull out a buzzsaw, throw it in the middle, and then weld it. Like that is sick.
Yeah,
Like I
I
have
know.
trouble with the dishwasher. Like some of these, this shit is legit. Like I enjoy watching it.
Yeah, and if I figure something out, even the smallest thing, I feel like the absolute man. For a little while, I've had my house since 2018. For a little while, I thought I was gaining momentum in that front. Like, oh, I'm learning things as I
Yep.
go. I don't have a landlord anymore. I'm doing it myself. I've plateaued. I've absolutely plateaued. Like anything I could have done is done. I can't do anything else.
It's so true because when you buy the house too, they're gonna put the bells and whistles on it to make sure everything looks good. When things start to go, it's very minor. Like, oh, I could
Mhm,
probably fix this. And when you
mhm.
do, you're like, I own this motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
this
Make
is
sure your
my
wife
house.
saw it too.
Yeah. She's definitely all riled up for it.
Mhm.
But then when things start to get older and more intense, like I can't fix a fucking pipe right now. No way.
No. I couldn't even begin. I don't even.
I didn't even know what a goddamn channel lock was. I still
No,
really don't.
I've never heard those words put together before. I think he's
Like
making it up.
remote when the
Dude,
remote won't work and you can't
it's a
change the
goddamn
channel.
wrench, dude. So I'm surprised, like you're very similar to me in not being able to solve these things and having a pool. Like I grew up with a pool at my house. I've got a buddy who has an in-ground pool. It's a ton of work.
Sucks.
And stuff breaks every single year. I feel like you never get like a clean year where everything just works. So how is owning a pool when you're, this type of guy, no offense.
It's the worst thing I've ever done. And I've
Did
done a
you
lot of
the
bad.
house the house had a pool when you bought it?
No. It's one of the
Oh
fucking
man.
Ocean State job lot. Piece of shit. It's not like the blow up piece of shit pool.
It's the
It's
blue one with the white things around it?
No, I'll send you a picture of it. It's like it's a nicer pool. It cost me like $800. Like it's one of the ones where like the pipes you put the pool down, you put the pipes on, and it holds it up, and it's like
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's a nice looking pool.
like a 4-footer.
When we got it originally, my wife was like, "I want a pool," and I think she went in like 3 or 4 times in a year, so that was beneficial. But now that we have a kid, he loves to swim, so I have to put it up. It is the fucking worst, absolute worst.
Wait, so when you say you have to put it up, so you're taking it down and putting it up every summer?
Correct, because let me tell you why. When I grew up, I had a legitimate above ground pool, like legit one that was permanent structure, had a patio around it, deck around it. One day I looked out in the winter, all the walls fell. All the walls collapsed because the water was inside turned to ice and expanded and crashed all the walls.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So I take it down every year, I pack it away, and I put it back up, and it is such a dreadful experience.
That sounds terrible. I mean, I remember, no big deal, but I grew up with an in-ground pool, and even packing the
rich boy,
the cover. Oh yeah, the cover was like my dad and I would have to roll up the cover and put it in the garage every year, and that even just rolling up a fucking tarp, I felt like was a pain in the ass. Never mind taking the entire pool apart. And then where do you put it? How do you even find? Do you have a shed?
Yeah, well, I put it in my garage. I put it in the back corner of my garage because you can basically it's just a big tarp, and if you roll it up properly, you can actually. I put it in a storage container, like it's very tight, but I put it in one of those, and I put the pipes in a separate section. But I won't lie to you, my wife was giving me shit about something. I forget what I did. It was definitely my fault. I had a knife in my hand. Hold on.
I'm picturing there's a knife in your hand. The pipe is cracked. The fish are dead.
I'm gonna kill myself. Fucking shooting 25% from the field. Like, what's life anymore?
Silent 2-hour ride home from Connecticut.
She was like, "You need to put the pool up. You need to put." She was counting me about the pool. She was at work. I grabbed the knife, and I went outside, and I thought about putting a knife in the side of the pool just to end it entirely. Yeah, because I had it up, but it didn't have the water in it yet. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking end this. I'm gonna lose the battle for like the rest of my life, but I'll win this very second.
How good would that feel too if you did that? Just a nice puncture.
Oh, yeah. Because we had the first pool we had. This is the second iteration of pools we've had at this house. Was one of the shitty blow up ones where you blow up the tube and then it just inflates with the water on it.
Yep.
That thing had 37 holes in it. I remember it vividly because I patched all of them. Finally, at the end of the summer, I just took a knife and I fucking gouged the side of it. Oh, so good.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I would give anything to do that again. But yeah, no, the filter was a mess this year. It's up and running now. Great. No one's going to use it. But yeah, the pool was a mess. You have a pool now? I don't think so.
No pool.
Not worth it. Not worth it.
No, I've referenced it a couple times. I've got that little turtle that you're supposed to make a sandbox, and that has like rainwater in it. So that's as close as I've gotten.
Oh, I meant to bring you sand. Shit.
Oh, that's right. I wish Bobby took the camera out and just saw you loading sand into my car, like either
that'd be something.
the beginning of the game or at the end.
Because when I dropped Gus off yesterday, because I dropped Gus off at the bar that Harmon was at after the game, I was talking to you about it quickly. We were talking about something about like interns, and Harmon looks over at us. He's like, this is like the show. I'm like, no, like the show is not an act. We are like just boring people. Like,
exactly.
This is what we enjoy. Like,
I was gonna bring that up too because I've had a busy. I mean, I was going to say busy week. It's only been Monday, Tuesday, but it's been busy. So I hadn't really put down a list for the show yet today. So when I sat down thinking of topics, I was like, well, when I was with Pat and we were talking about stuff and people turned to us and said, this is a boring conversation. It's like an episode of Drips. I was like, what the fuck were we talking about?
I forgot to.
I think we were talking about the intern. And then actually I did have this in my notes. We'll kind of circle back. Speaking of work language, I definitely feel like there's two things that I need to get better at when I'm out on the road. One, I think I'm trying to go way too hard with my follow-ups as far as like, so I go to an account, I meet the account, I give them like my business card or maybe like some sort of marketing slick. And then in the beginning, I was like, I'm going to be a hardo and I'm going to call them the next day or email them the next day or maybe 2 days later. And just so I'm right there in your face about stuff. I'm beginning to realize if you go to as many spots as I have and cold call as many spots, you start to I'm snowballing. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
when I wake up the next day, because I can it's in our system, it's called tasking. So I can task something for a certain date. So if I tasked it to myself, like assign something to myself for tomorrow or 2 days out, when I log in the morning, I see all the tasks that I gave myself, and it's all like follow up, follow up, follow up, and it's 50 of them. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, there's no way I can follow up with these 50 people. I got to prospect new business.
Yep.
That's one. And two, if I don't log all my notes right away, like at the end of the day, if I don't log them all, dude, I'll even so yesterday's a good example. I had no chance to log any of my notes because I went from work to basketball, got home at whatever it was, midnight. So I'm like, oh, I'll just log my notes tomorrow. By the time I wake up, every single appointment in my mind looks the same. Like every doctor's office mesh the same. The people that I met with in that front desk, I'm like, wait, what? Who were you? Which place was that?
Wearing scrubs. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Start with one. I agree with you 1,000%, and I get so uncomfortable when you send the follow up, and nice to meet you, blah, 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 love sets on that, and they don't answer. Are you supposed to just let them go, or do you hound them a second time? Because you're probably like me. Does your LinkedIn get flooded with fucking people who are like, hey, John, hey, John? Hey. Like, I have one guy that messaged me 27 times in a row.
Yeah.
It's like a
girl's DMs with the guy messages them
1,000%.
and wishes them a happy birthday every year. Yeah,
you up, put you up. Yeah, I know. They're always up. No one's like,
sorry your dog died.
Yeah,
you up.
But at what point does it become too overbearing? Keeps me up at night. And you got to imagine too, you're doing doctor's offices where you're a very small piece of their puzzle. I'm doing like hotels and garages. Hotel is fucking like 500 rooms. They got thousands of people going in and out of there every day. They got hundreds of employees. They don't give a fuck about me. Like, I'll give them I'll put a good deal in front of them, but I'm the last on their list. So like, that's where it's like, I don't want to be too overbearing.
And how many other schmucks that do the same exact thing as you for a different company walked in that day, the next day?
And I'd prefer just to be the guy. It's like, yeah, I called you a month ago. Like, you never got back to me. That's all right. I'm here. Instead of like the, hey, haven't heard from you in 2 days guy. That guy's the worst.
I'm realizing. Well, I knew that guy was annoying, but in the back of my mind, I go, is that guy annoying? But he hits his commission every month. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder the same thing.
I wasn't sure. So, but I am realizing that it's actually just not feasible. So
it comes off as desperation. Those guys.
So I actually think I'm going to go minimum like 3 weeks, maybe even more. Like if it's like a small fish, a month, 2 months, and then just check back in. Hey, I stopped by 2 months ago, blah, blah, blah. But
I think that's the way to do it. You're not going to get immediate results, but I feel like like if somebody is hounding me 3-4 times a week, I'm going to be like, I'm not answering this guy.
Yeah, no way. That's how, exactly. That's how I feel. Yeah. Learn the hard way.
Then your second point was the notes. If I don't take them, see you later. I take pictures. I do videos of everything I do. Like,
I've been taking pictures
I'm talking to somebody.
Yeah, because dude, even the business cards. If I go into a place, sometimes if I go to 10 stops a day, one doctor's office might have 5 doctors in there. So now I've got 5 business cards per office. So I go home and I got a stack of business cards, and I'm like, this is already overwhelming.
So you don't work with like the corporate. You don't work with like the doctor's office. You would go to individual doctors.
Depends.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the trick is to go with the medical assistant. They kind of run the show. Because a lot of times the doctors won't meet with you, like they're too busy, and a lot of times the doctors are super clinical. So all the business and the insurance shit that I deal with, they don't even know what's going on half the time with that anyway. The MAs do all the computer work and all that stuff. So you try to get it in good with the MAs. If the MA can get you some FaceTime with a provider, maybe for like an hour, you can sit down and like have lunch or something, great. But other than that,
MA, it's a cool term.
I know, it's kind of cool. Like when I go up to the front desk, you chat up the girl there, and then you're like, oh, by the way, any of the like MAs available? Anybody who does the ordering?
You should be an MA. You're good.
Have you thought about being an MA? You've got MA energy.
Oh man, that's funny. What else do I have? I have something else I wanted to talk to. Hold on. Oh, the cat. Yeah, I'm getting another cat.
So this makes 2 or 3?
3.
Was it like a are you going out somewhere and getting a cat, or did someone contact you? Hey, we have kittens.
My mother-in-law, when we got our second cat from the uncle that does the plumbing, he has like 20 barn cats, so we just went and scooped our second cat. My wife's sister, who's younger, she's like mid-20s, early 20s, she got a cat too, but she's moving into an apartment that's not pet friendly, and the cat's stuck with the parents, and the parents don't. They're like, "Oh, this cat's really annoying. I like the cat," and they're like, "Oh, if you would take the cat, we would do it." And my wife said, "I was like, yep, let's take the cat. Cats rule." But I'm gonna regret this so fast.
Oh my god, dude, you're
Cats
insane.
are, but like my cats right now, I'll check in with them like 11 o'clock, give them a little bit of kibble. They'll go on their way. We'll touch base in the morning when I feed them. I'll come home from work. They'll say hello. And that's really it. They kind of do their own thing. So if I can just get a third one so they all have like everybody will have a friend, or maybe they'll gang up on that cat. I didn't think of that. But like they're low maintenance.
They're low maintenance.
You don't have to bring them to the vet. They shit in a box. Like now there's going to be more shit. Like something I should have thought through a little bit more.
Are you the number one cleaner?
Do you know pregnant women can't scoop cat poop?
Yeah, there's like a chemical that'll turn them fucking crazy.
Well,
yeah. Too late. Isn't that where the term crazy cat lady came from? Like those people with like a million cats, like they're all fucking. The reason that they're all fucking weird is because there's just breathing in that chemical.
Maybe.
I heard that somewhere. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up though. It's an interesting tidbit. So I've been on cat poop duty for the last 6 months, and even prior to that, I've been the cat poop guy.
Have you looked into you see commercials every once in a while for those like self-cleaning ones? Is that a scam?
No, it's legit, but to get the right one, it's a pretty penny. It's more than the cats. It's actually 600 times more than the cats cost me. It's about $600.
Yeah.
Cats are free. Cats are always free. That's another good thing about cats. Like, fucking dogs weren't, that's for sure.
Yeah, cats, you just get cats. I mean, people are always giving away cats.
Hell yeah.
We've got cats coming from oh, well, how about this? I'll get you one. Every year we start to sprout cats like under my front porch. I think they find shelter in there, and then they maybe that makes
you got a scumbag.
Yeah. We have the woods across the street, and then I'm pretty sure there's like a barn or I hear a what are those things called that cockadoodle do? A rooster. I hear a rooster every single morning. I don't know where it's coming from, but I go to my car and there's just a fucking rooster, dude, every morning, which is kind of nice because it's like you start your day, it's like cockadoodle do. I got my work backpack on. I feel like I'm in a fucking cartoon. So I'm assuming the cats are coming from wherever that sound is coming from.
What are those things called? Cockadoodle rooster. Oh, that's so good. If that's the case, then I have a third cat. My neighbor's cat has wandered over my house, and I put out food for the cat every once in a while. So I have an outdoor cat too.
I'm a crazy cat guy. Outdoor, yeah, you've been scooping poop for way too long. I can already see it in your eyes. You crazy cat Pat. My parents have always had outdoor cats. I'll go to their house to pick up my kid or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, haven't seen." I don't even know my parents' cats.
That's the craziest part.
Like, I haven't seen him in 15 days. So they're literally like marking the calendar. They're like, if he's gone for 2 more days, that'll be his record. But they always end up coming back.
I know, it's insane. Like the new cat we're getting is brothers with the current cat that I have, so I think that's cool. Cool connection.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, her uncle's got like 20 of them. They just keep fucking and sprouting. Every time he gets one fixed, because I was like, why don't you just get them fixed? They stop having babies. Every time he gets one fixed, they get killed by a coyote like the next day.
Wait, and this is the plunkle?
Plunkle.
Is it the plunkle? Is it plumber uncle? Couldn't you just use the cat as your segue to talk to him about the plumbing?
Uncle.
I had that and I couldn't wait to say it.
That makes my dad a dadscaper.
Is it the same guy?
Same guy. Oh, John, you're on fire. It's been a hell of a couple days for you. I'm crying. That is the plunkle. But yeah, every time he gets one of those cats fixed, they get like nuked the next day by a coyote. So he's just spending the money to get them fixed. He puts them back outside, and the coyote just snatches them up.
My sister came. I can't remember what the situation was. I think she had a new apartment or something like that. So her cat was an indoor cat, had to live with my parents for a little while. Of course, it got out. Right, it climbed through a window or whatever. I'm sure my dad just left the slider open, but
Yeah, you just get out.
the story is that it got through the window. I was so confident that I was going to find this cat. Like my sister was calling me hysterical. She doesn't live in Rhode Island. I live right down the street from my parents. I'm like, I'm going to find this cat. I'm going to drive over there. I'll spend the entire weekend finding it for you. I was never more overly confident and wrong about anything in my life. I went up and down streets. I was talking to people. We put stuff up. That cat never showed up.
After a couple days, you really don't want to find it because you just feel like something bad's you're gonna
Yeah.
find something bad too.
But which is fucking wild because, like I said, my parents have had outdoor cats my entire life, and then the one indoor cat gets loose and it's gone. But it could be something to like say about outdoor cats. Like maybe they just have a different skill set. Maybe.
Oh, they're badass. The one that
Badass, dude.
The one that I adopted is so muscular. Like that thing comes over and like just basically demands food. I'm like, yeah, come on down. I don't even have a name for it. But that must be. So when you went out looking for that cat, how fucking sick would that have been if all of a sudden, like out of the woods, it's dusk, your parents are looking down the street and they're like, "Is that John?" And you come up just holding the cat by its scruff, like
like Ben Stiller Meet the Parents,
on the cat,
spray painted cat.
Yeah.
I didn't even care about finding the cat. I just wanted the credit for finding the cat. That's
Plus, it's probably a nice little weekend away from the kid, away from the wife and kids, just fucking in the woods looking for a cat.
It was kind of cool. Yeah, I was like looking under stuff. I don't know, and by that I mean like I think I looked under one deck and I was about it. But
lift up a stick, be like, "Yep, son of a bitch, nope, not here."
So no word of a lie on outdoor cats being badass. I think they're out there just battling like each other, other things. So my parents' cat, I had no idea this episode was going to turn into my parents' cats, but
hey, you never know.
I shit you not, this thing came home with, I'm assuming, another cat's tooth stuck in its fucking forehead. So I'm assuming it won that battle. This thing is badass, but there was a tooth in its fucking head. Crazy.
That's kind of sick.
Well, I know.
My plunkle, he has one cat named Motor, and he calls him Motor because he got stuck in the motor of his truck and his ear got chopped off. But it was fine. Popped right back up, just like half of his ear. But yeah, outdoor cats are a different breed. I might need to pick a couple of these up because I feel like that's the definition of low maintenance. Like they haven't seen them in 15 days.
Oh, yeah, you put a bowl out. That's it, dude. You put a bowl out.
I wonder what they do. That'd be pretty cool to put like a GoPro on them.
I've always thought that. I mean, I'm sure it's done. Like, if we go on YouTube, I'm sure that'll.
Yeah, we'll find it right after this.
Yeah. So, how about this? Speaking of animal, these are more cold-blooded reptiles. They had a reptile day at my kid's school. How does your wife make that noise when she's done cleaning your clothes?
She's like the outdoor cats. I lose her sometimes, so I put a little bell on her neck. It's like ding ding ding.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, reptile day at my kid's daycare. They have the pictures that you can look. Dude, my kid is fucking nuts. He's holding. There was a snake around like his neck, and he's holding it like this. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. He'll be afraid of a bowl of Cheerios one day, and then he's holding a snake.
Grasping a snake. Not a big deal.
Unreal.
I don't trust those things because like even they do it like there's that badass picture of me actually floating around where I'm holding a crocodile.
That's true.
But there's a guy that comes in and he wears like a tan shirt with tan shorts and work boots, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the crocodile trainer. Like, don't worry, these things won't bite you."
Yeah.
Crocodile. How do you train a crocodile not to bite? And like, how do you train a snake to like not? I'm glad your son's okay, but pop his head off.
You wear a ton of tan. I've noticed that these guys that deal with these things, they're wearing tan.
Oh,
And it
I think it's an ode to Steve Irwin.
it is.
I think it
It
is.
is. By
Rest
the
in
way, I love that his son is just like carrying on that legacy. Every time I see him, like I'm proud of
badass.
that kid.
Badass.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Shout out to him. If he's listening, shout out to him.
Yeah, good for him. All right. So we touched on basketball a little bit. I'd like to get into it a little bit more. I think what do you think about Cinema Lord getting the start over Coleman on Thursday? You understand that move? Are you yeah, you are. Yep.
I get it. I think Coleman's worked hard, but I mean, Sinmore played great
Mhm.
on Monday yesterday. So I think he definitely gets the nod, and I think that's the hardest part. And it's like we're all kind of starting to get our wind a little bit. So like it's distributing minutes for everybody except for Kirk and Ron, really, and whenever
Yeah.
they're whenever Ron wants to rest. But no, I get Cinema Lord starting. I think he'll play well, and I think Coleman will come in with something to prove. So I think it works out for everybody.
I
What do
think
you
it does
think?
too. Yeah, because it'll change things up a little bit. And I think changing things up can be good. I think you touched on it. Cinema Lord earned that spot,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep.
With all that said, you can see such a significant improvement in Coleman's game.
Yes.
Confidence probably has a lot to do with it. Maybe some conditioning and obviously the practices, but that move he has, that if he puts his body on that person, that like step and kind of hook over, I like that move.
I caught that
And
in practice a couple times and like gasped. I'm like, oh,
yeah, like what are you supposed to do?
yeah.
Yeah,
He had it the first play of the game pretty much against like I dumped one into the paint and I was like, let's see how this goes. And he held his own relatively well against Dana. I think he's come a long way. I think we've all kind of come a
yeah.
long way
I
since we
like how
started.
physical he was with Dana.
Yeah, me too. We have a lot of work to do still, but we're definitely moving in the right direction. Everybody, and that I'm excited to see Justin in there. I think he's going
Yep,
to surprise some people. I really do,
yep.
and not even for anything. Like people are like, oh, he's never played. The kid is the first fucking one to sprint at the end of the
Mhm.
practice with doing laps. He's running suicides, dribbling. Like, I think he can do something productive, and he's going to surprise some people on Thursday because Gus
Yeah,
is working the
interesting.
camera
That's right.
with one hand.
Right. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Kirk for whipping this team into shape.
Goodness gracious.
If you look at the first game to what we did last night, we actually looked like a team. I
Yeah.
think he figured out pretty quick. These guys talking about ourselves. Conditioning is going to be a big thing.
Mhm.
So getting us moving around. We were the first two games were just running around or not moving at all, just not making basketball decisions and basketball movements.
Yeah.
So he's got us on the pick and roll, setting picks, moving along the baseline. So he's done a really good job of kind of getting this ragtag crew and getting us into positions where we actually look like we're playing basketball. Yeah, and I felt like I said earlier, I know we kind of started soft yesterday, but when we were playing our game, that felt like team basketball.
Yep.
That felt like there's a momentum shift. If Marty doesn't hit those threes, and then Hubs too. Hubs hit a couple killers. That didn't help.
Yeah. No, hit shots. I mean, we did
Yeah.
everything we could. We just gotta. That was great, but we also have to recognize that was an exhibition, win or lose. Our real focus, our end goal is a championship, no matter what division we're in, and that starts on Thursday night. And I think we can work together, and I think we can win. And if we don't, I'm going to hurt myself.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'll be eating McDonald's either way. It's just maybe it'll be a happy McDonald's or it'll be a crying into my McDouble. So I think when you drive to the basket, you're making it to the hoop. I
Yeah,
think
gotta
you
finish.
find a way to kind of be slithery through there and you make it to the hoop. And then if you go with the left hand, I think that takes people by surprise. Got a good left when you drive, maybe get a hard foul. And then all of your looks are open. Like you're not taking wild shots. That's not how they come off at all. Speaking of that, Mutt should keep shooting.
Yep.
Because his looks, he's wide open. Like he's finding that spot. Getting kicked out. That's you being sarcastic.
Nothing to do with the conversation. I think I just not this again. I can't do this. I'm seeing stars. I need to hit that fucking inhaler. I'll tell you. What a fucking specimen. I agree with you. Mutt's gonna pour one in. He'll pour one in on Thursday. We got the pole man in there.
That's right.
Greggy P. I wonder if he'll like that nickname. Maybe I'll try it. Yeah, I think he'll be productive. But yeah, Mutt's very good defensively. He has that offense
He
in him.
talks a lot on defense too, in a good way. Like he's making
Yeah.
sure that we're communicating. I
Mhm.
appreciate that when I'm on the floor with him.
Yeah, no. I got no gripes with this team whatsoever. We are the unit that is going to surprise some people on Thursday, and then the comeback train starts.
Right. And I'm not like the amount of minutes I've been getting, I'm totally okay with that. I feel like I'm getting the minutes that I've deserved so far. Like, you have to play well to get your minutes. So, and I understand my role in the team. I'm coming off the bench. I have no problem with that. But what I tried to do yesterday and what I'll try to do moving forward is whatever minutes I have, I need to make the absolute most of those
Yep.
minutes. If that's sticking my hand up, trying to, ricochet a pass, getting an open look, whatever I can possibly do. And I try to sneak into these offensive rebounds. I feel like
Unbelievable. When
no
I saw
one looks to
3
me. No
offensive
one.
rebounds, and I saw you flying in for one, I was like, "Oh my god, is that MJ in the flesh?" Like, but I swear to God, I looked over at one point. I was in the corner. I was like, "Oh, balls up!" You're fucking like flying in for it. Like, wow, I didn't see that coming. But
Yeah, I think it's just being small. Like I'm not accounted for, so I just try to sneak in there. So
yeah,
I'll try to keep doing that. Um, any other basketball thoughts?
just Thursday,
Thursday.
Thursday, Thursday.
Shout out to the crowd too. It was a good crowd.
That was cool.
Yeah, I did like when we were having that comeback, it did help when you made a shot and you heard the crowd pump us up a little bit.
Yep.
Um,
Julie screaming at Gia, the whole nine.
did you see that video? I think Ziggy might have posted it of Julie
That
jumping. That was
We need to have Coleman and Julie need to have a jump ball and see who takes it home.
that was so fucking funny.
And I was basketball going back to it. When Billy hung on the rim and got the technical foul, I was like, so Kirk was going to shoot the free throw, and I was over by the bench. I think the bones in Clemmer's face left his skin. He was so angry, screaming at Billy.
Well, to be fair, the bones are they're almost outside of the skin to begin
I
with.
think they became. I think they overtook the skin. Like he was just so livid. I moved right over there. I couldn't help it. It was too good.
He has the perfect like hands on the hips and head shaking coach mannerisms I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I was worried because they had a fan running in there. I thought I was going to blow him away, but fuck.
So we'll wrap it up with a little more KMS talk. So we had a solo Mike show.
Yep.
This week, and then so we've only had two shows, right? Obviously. Yep. So then the Gus and Mick show. What do you got on the solo Mike show?
I thought it was great. I love having I love whenever they have a third chair in there, but I'm a huge Mike guy, so sometimes I just love him and Kirk going back and forth and just talking about whatever. So I love that show. And today's show was probably that was an all-timer for me. These are just the best shows. So there's something juicy to talk about. Gus tried to murder a man, whether he did intentionally or not. I still don't know. Did you watch the clip after the fact?
Which one?
Because I was on the bench when Gus tried to kill Rico.
Oh, the Gus Zapruder film?
Yeah. When Gus, so from our angle, it looked like he took a charge and then fell face forward.
Yeah, but in the slow-mo, he kind of bent.
The slow motion's not great.
Yeah, it's not. In that moment, I regretted that they invented slow motion. I think the consensus online, and again, I'm not saying this, but the consensus online in the comments was dirty play, but Gus is too dumb to know any better. Like that's what people were saying, and I'm not saying he's too dumb. My whole thing is, I think he went in for a charge and just did the charge completely. He didn't do it correctly.
I think he was going to take a charge. I think he was hoping that Rico was still going to be on the ground, driving the hoop when he got there so he could just take it. But right when he started to slide over is really when Rico started to take off. I think he realized, oh, fuck, he's in the air. He's going to, maybe it'll hurt my elbow, but, he would have kneed him in the face is probably his thoughts. He was like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. But none of it comes out malicious or intentional, trying to hurt anybody. Where he's not doing himself any favors is when people play last week's undercut to this one back to back. That doesn't look good. But to me, that's just an absolute coincidence. That was a rough game. We were kind of
tough couple weeks
in that. Yeah.
Tough couple weeks in that regard. But yeah. No, today, going back to that, I love the Mike show, but today's show for me was just an all-timer. Calling calling Clemmer, having him Clemmer's line it caught me off guard. He's like, "No, I disagree with you, Kirk." And then he's finally like, "No, actually, no, I don't think he should be on the team at all. Like, at least
I almost had to rewind that because he's like, no, he shouldn't be suspended. He just shouldn't play at all. and then Justin's like, as the show went on, he's like, yeah, I'm thinking about this Clemmer point.
He's like,
just shouldn't play. Yeah. What I thought, and I'm gonna go back to Ziggy again.
Shut up.
We definitely had the same thought process when Mick dropped his brother's kid's name. I was like
floored.
Because I've had situations in my life where you're not supposed to give the name away. You can't do it. There's so many different reasons why you can't. One, when you tell your parents, loose lips all over the place. They're going to tell everyone you've ever met.
His parents told him. His parents were the one that told him about the kid's name. So yeah, that's one. But I agree with you 1,000%. But I'm saying in his defense in that regard, I think his parents were the one who told him what the name was going to be.
Right. So that's on Al. You shouldn't even have told your parents. We didn't with my firstborn. We did. With my second, we kept it way closer to the vest. We didn't tell my parents until like the week before.
Yep, we were that with the first one. This one we have like a kind of a friend that's having a kid right around the same time, having a girl, and my wife's like, I just think she's gonna fucking name her. So like my wife right away, once she found out, she's like Ella Ford, like welcome to the world in whatever August. I was like, all right, we're going for it. But I was absolutely flabbergasted when he was like, yeah, he's going with Nathan Michael. I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know if you're the one that's supposed to throw that out there. That's crazy.
On a gigantic podcast.
Yeah. On a monster podcast.
So I thought the two things that the reasons you typically don't want to tell are for what you said, someone's going to steal it, like someone close to you will steal it. Or two, I don't ever want to deal with what if your parents kind of did like they don't like it type thing. So you almost just tell them like too late. Here's the fucking kid.
Deal with it.
Here's the name. Yeah, exactly.
I wonder. I hope everybody's. Some families are cool with it and they don't really care. I'm curious to see if Al gets home and he's like tells his wife like Mick told everybody what the name of our son's going to be, and for me, I would be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't do that. But that's how I would handle it. On the female / the woman who's 7-8 months pregnant side, losing her. I would imagine she'll just freak out.
Yeah, my wife wouldn't be happy. What do you think about? So there's two more things I want to get your opinion on. One, him in typical Mick fashion, being slighted that his brother would choose his name as the middle name. Everyone else would be more honored than anything in the world, and my man is not happy about it.
He's like, I don't like that. Was the best part. I was like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah. 5 minutes later, he's like, well, her dad's name is Michael as well. Oh my God! This is why. I
just wish that wasn't true. Like I wish it was for Mick, and he was mad about it. Look at him, he's doing the cough button. Joe Rogan-esque.
This point, bro. Gosh,
14 episodes in, this guy's a pro.
Golly, but no, that was the best. But going back to last week, while we're speaking of like announced things that probably shouldn't have been announced, how about James? Did you pick up on this? Where Kirk was like, oh, blah, blah, you got kids or anything like that? He's like, my son was watching it. My son was watching the game and heard me say ass. And he's like, you just have the son? Or like, you got one kid, you got more or something like that? And he's like, well, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this because it's really early on. But like he announced he's having a second kid.
Oh, he did? Okay. I don't think I caught that. You sort of did that on one of the episodes, didn't you? I think the one that we were in studio together. I think I'm sure it was out there in the ether.
I think we were past the first trimester and we had announced it, but I probably hadn't told anybody like from the Miniverse.
Right.
Maybe I did.
Your Minifriends? My
Minifriends. But yeah, Josh, he was like, yeah, my wife's going to be mad at me. But yeah, it's really early on.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you're in that seat, the microphone's in front of you. You're like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say something.
Yeah, you want to see pictures of me in college? Sure, I was a scumbag. Yeah. Here you go.
What do you think about Mick potentially walking into intervention tomorrow night? I love that. That was funny.
I hate to break it to him, but that's what it is. There's no fucking way his parents are like, Mick, what's going to be a good Mick, come on. We're going to go to Tom Brady's retirement. You, me, and your dad. We're just going to talk shop.
Well,
Nothing
the way
like
Mick thought it was going to be, he thought it was going to be him, his dad, his mom, and Tom Brady sitting at dinner. So
his mom's like, yeah, you just pull right in. You park right
Yeah.
in front of the stadium, too. Not a big deal. This lady, I'll tell you.
he's the best.
I hope not. I hope he doesn't. That's when he should fight back. That's what I'd be like, get away. I think a great line he could use would be save it for your coffee chats with Al, and then get up, and go to the bathroom, or get up and go get a concession. That would put the heat on.
That would
Jen.
sting. That would absolutely sting. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not fond of Jen. No offense, Mick.
And all right, so we have Polar. It's not tomorrow. It's Thursday, right?
Thursday. It's gonna hurt.
Yep. And then Ordway on Friday. So
Ordway.
I'm really looking forward to the rest of the week. Super, super excited about that. Obviously, we've got the game, so we've got business to take care of.
Unfinished business. That's
right. So I hope the next time that you and I are sitting here on Drips, we're talking about our win. But not showboating, not congratulating each other too much. It's always on. It's on to Cincinnati. But yeah, I hope that's where we're at next time we speak.
Can I close it,
please?
KMS on 3. 1, 2, 3.
KMS.
Bye.
Call your plunkle.
Plunkle.